After centuries of expansion, the Vikings were about to reach their breaking point. This is the story of the Vikings, in miniature. By the early 11th century, the European landscape had transformed completely. The mobility of the longship was now countered by fortified bridges, coastal defenses, and coordinated royal armies. In England, however, the invasions led by Sweyn Forkbeard and Cnut culminated in the conquest of the English throne in 1016, marking a turning point in the history of the islands. Across Scandinavia, emerging rulers tightened control over territories once dominated by independent clans. In Norway, Harald Fairhair defeated his rivals and unified much of the coast, a process later reinforced by Olaf Tryggvason and Olaf II Haraldsson through Christian law and centralized rule. In Denmark, the dynasty of Gorm the Old and Harald Bluetooth consolidated Jutland and the surrounding islands into a single kingdom with fortified centers and stable authority. In Sweden, rulers based in Uppsala strengthened their hold over Svealand and moved to incorporate Götaland through dynastic alliances and Christian institutions. In the North Atlantic, distant communities struggled. Greenland faced isolation and climatic decline. Vinland never became a permanent colony, and Iceland entered internal conflicts that weakened its autonomy. In Normandy, the descendants of Scandinavian settlers played a decisive role in 1066, when William, Duke of Normandy, crossed the Channel and conquered England at Hastings, reshaping its aristocracy under a dynasty with Viking origins. In the east, the Rus principalities that had grown out of Norse and Slavic cooperation evolved into regional states tied to Christian Europe and Byzantine influence, rather than to the raiding culture of earlier centuries. The last major attempt to revive the old ways came in 1066, when Harald Hardrada invaded England and was defeated at Stamford Bridge only weeks before the Norman Conquest. The Viking Age had ended, yet the world that followed was far from secure. Dynastic struggles, civil wars, shifting alliances, and soon after, the greatest threat medieval Europe had ever faced. A century later, the Mongol army would enter the continent and seriously jeopardize its existence.